The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello. Here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. How are you today, listener? And Noah and Andrew. How are you guys today?
We're good.
Good. You're good? I mean, we've already kind of been on, chat together today for, I don't know, going on an hour plus now. We're in Mexico. We're doing the show from Cabo San Lucas, right? Is that right?
Or San Lucas, San Jose, Cabo, San Lucas.
I don't know things.
No.
I don't know where I am in Mexico at all. I know I'm a 2-hour flight from Los Angeles because I flew in yesterday, but that's all I know, baby. And it's pretty fitting, actually, because I was saying to Andrew, I was getting a little nostalgic because as we were setting up the shots and the podcast in my hotel room here in Cabo, I was reminiscent of when we began the podcast last March, also in my hotel room while on the set of Boy Island, which I'm here doing season 2. I'm sure that's, we're not supposed to say that, but honestly, are they going to take it from me? No one else is going to host that show right now. Like, not yet. They're not going to take it from me. I was thinking, like, what if I get hit by a car? We're starting filming pretty soon. What happens if I die or something? Who's going to replace me? What would they do? Would they just go, we can't continue?
Maybe they would just like Weekend at Bernie it, put you in some Pradas and throw you up
Depends
there.
on how mangled I got from
the
accidento.
Yeah, I guess it's, I could see you though, like, I don't know who would do your voice. Maybe we could find like a raspy 11-year-old boy.
Kid, man, boy? You went over every possible age for that not my gendered person.
Pretty much.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm excited to be here. I have a couple things to just say right off the top that I didn't go over last week that are really pertinent to this podcast. Okay. They have to do with cars.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Car?
No. But okay, not catalytic converters, as we all know. I know those things backward and forward.
And sideways.
Every which way. Man, boy, kid. And there's too early for a ham drip. A callback has to be a ham drip, a real ham drip. For those of you listening, ham drip means we're doing a callback to a previous joke from another episode or even from this episode. It has to be a minute later at least. Otherwise, it's just
45 seconds.
No, I mean, let's roll the tape back. I think it was.
Well, what's smaller than a ham drip? A turkey drop?
Turkey drop.
A turkey.
No,
turkey tier.
A turkey tier. I like that. That's when it's really close. Turkey tier. So, okay, remember when I told you, did I tell you about the fender bender I got into where I let the guy go? Because I'm just like Mother Teresa.
The most amazing.
I mean, I'm pretty much.
Yeah.
Who needs Bob Saget anymore? I mean, I'm around.
Yeah.
No, So if you didn't know, really quickly, I was in a fender bender going to my lover's radio show a couple weeks ago, and the guy bumped my mom's. I'm driving my mom's car right now because I bought her a car last year, and I just took her car. It's a 2010 Lexus. It's really nice, but it's just it's beat up. And this guy bumped the thing, and I pulled over, and I was just like, dude, who cares? Like, just, I don't care. There was a little bit of a bump, but I was like, just let it go. He looked so nervous, and I just wanted to get to radio. I just was like not bothered by it.
It also adds to the aesthetic that car is going for anyways.
It's really,
a couple dents is like, oh, that makes sense.
I've never understood why people are obsessed with dents. I mean, I guess it looks shitty. Yeah. But it doesn't affect how the car moves. I mean, I see some cars in St. Louis that are driving around without a hood, without a complete back bumper.
Dude, I've seen cars.
And I'm like, if they go, then they go.
Yeah, I've seen cars without doors or different doors that I don't even think it's the same car. I think it's like a Cadillac door on a Yugo.
My dad did that. My dad got his door hit on his car that he bought off of Craigslist. He got it hit and he wanted to get it replaced. So he found another door on Craigslist somehow of the same car, but because it was in Texas, same color, same year, everything. it was more faded than his car because it was in Texas. And so it's a different color maroon. Very interesting.
I mean, I'd almost rather go with a blue on a maroon, a nice
I know.
accent door.
Than just slightly off.
Yeah, that's
He got,
like your
like, a
bedroom
puce.
with a slight pink different.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I know. I tried to paint my bedroom walls 2 different color pinks, and they're just so simple. They were supposed
It's
to be
your
very
dad's
different,
car.
but they're not different at all.
Going
Going back to the car incident.
yeah.
So I let the guy go. Cut to a week later, okay? And this was a week and a half ago at this point. Maybe longer. So it was 3 weeks ago that it happened. And then a week later, and I meant to tell this on the podcast, but it just, my mind wanders. I was driving to the recording studio where I did that Bob Saget song, among others. And I was late, and I was at an intersection pulling up to a red light. And I'm on my phone, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to Waze my way to this recording studio, which I think is a normal thing to do on your phone, even though you should be on it. I was on Waze. So, I was crawling to a stop, and then I just went too far and bumped the woman in front of me pretty hard. I would say I was probably going 5 miles an hour, which is it's a bump, maybe even more. And the woman stops. We're at a stoplight, but she puts it in park. All the other cars go when it turns green. She gets
alone?
out.
She's
yeah,
alone?
she's alone.
What kind of car is she in? I'm just trying to
not
paint a
a
picture.
not a banger.
Okay.
Not like a banged up, car, like a decent car.
Okay.
I back up slightly so I can pull out and go away. No,
Yeah,
and I see that they've created damage. I see a dent.
Oh.
I see a dent, and I'm like, all right, well, I can afford it. This is a blessing. I learned my lesson. This is way less than something I could do.
Weighs less.
Ways less than other damage I could do. Maybe
Turkey
this is
tier.
a wake up call to not be on my phone ever. It's not. But okay, so then people are going to use this footage when I die in a texting accident. So then I am, I park, I get out, I see the girl get out, look at her bumper, and just kind of go like sigh and not really look at me, but get back in her car. And I'm like, is she just going to leave? Because she hasn't looked at me at all. And then she turns on her blinker and she pulls to the side of the road, and I pull behind her, and I get out and I go, girl, I am so sorry. I was on my phone. I'm such an idiot. I go, and she goes, I don't care. She goes, and I go, but there's damage. And she goes,
so cool.
It's fine. Just go. And I was like, are you serious right now? And I go, but there's a dent there. And she was like, I think it was already there. It's not. And I was like, it wasn't. And she was like, I don't care. And I go, girl, you have no idea. I did this exact same thing a week ago, but I was you. And I had the same reaction. I go, you are such an angel.
Like
and I go, can I give you something? I was like, do you have a Venmo? And she was like, no, I have Cash App. And I was like, give me your Cash App. So she gave me her name. And I sent her, some cash. But she totally didn't take my number, and I said, do you want anything? I go, I'm Nikki Glaser. I'm kind of a famous comedian. You can look me up. Like, here's my email address. I'm going to text you right now so I'm accountable, because I don't know what is going to be further down the road. But I honestly think the only reason that happened and wasn't
Karma?
thousands of dollars of bullshit was karma. Because I've never heard a story where someone just lets a person go. And this girl was not in a good mood. She was
How old?
probably my age.
Okay.
But
Did
shout
she look
out,
like she was going through something? Like
No.
where she was like, I don't want to do the paperwork.
no, she was
I
just
don't
like
wanna
me
deal-
of like, I don't care. It's
Interesting.
fine. And you know what? It made me so
Now,
fucking
will
happy the rest of the
insurance-
day.
Well, and if she lets you go, right?
Yeah.
Can she still have insurance cover it? Like, what is?
That's
No,
what she
she's gonna
probably
pay
didn't want
for-
to deal with, because then it raises her insurance rate, and it's not
But
worth it for a
it
little
would
dent.
erase mine, not hers, right? Because I was the one that hit her, and my insurance would be the one that,
Yeah, but my thing is, if you hit her and you drove away, could she go to her insurance company and be like, "Look, someone hit me, and then I didn't get their information"?
Why are you asking me a question that adults would know the answer to?
I'm just wondering because
No, I have no idea.
No,
I just wanted to give a
this
shout
is-
out to Lakeisha McJames
my point is
because she's awesome.
my point is that she just doesn't want to get like. There's a difference between like if
I
she-
would have been able to. I would have paid her a lot. She would have gotten. I mean, she would have gotten it paid for completely, and it would have been points on my record, not hers.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But
also,
I'm thinking.
But it's red
Some
tape.
people, like, they'll overreact and they'll say, "Oh, but my neck hurts," and then they try to get
yeah.
like all this other stuff. So
They can get litigious, and I just wanted to use that word, and really,
yeah, for sure. So litigious.
all the other things they can get. I mean, So if I hit Donald Trump like that, it not only would he shame me for it, like this is just me making up a thing, but I just feel like someone like that, if I would have hit a Karen instead of Lakeisha, let's all be Lakeishas and just like let it go if it's not that big of a deal. And if it is a big of a deal and you want to get it fixed, don't be an asshole about it because we've all been on our phones driving. And
The only reason why I asked that
you're a
is
goddamn
that
saint.
I think like I wouldn't want the other person to get in trouble per se, but I would also want it to be covered so I'm not in the hole.
No.
So
it's okay. They should get in trouble. Like the law's in place so that your insurance should go up if you're negligent and you hit someone. So that's all fine, and I would have been fine with that. But the fact that it wasn't something she cared about enough to get fixed, obviously, if you're that kind of person, let the person go. And what you can do is you can get the person to pay for it. Just don't make the person feel bad about it. Let's be forgiving. You can get compensated, but just not being an asshole made my day.
it is possible though she didn't have insurance.
Yeah, well, whatever it is.
No, I'm just
I'll
saying
take
though.
it.
I agree. I'm saying though, like it's not just necessarily karma. I don't think just because you let that person go that she let you go. There could be a reason, like she might have points on her license.
Well,
she might have a suspended license.
Well, karma happens not because I believe karma happens. Not it doesn't mean that it has to be another person doing a good deed out of their kindness of their heart. Because let's be honest, mine wasn't a good deed out of the kindness of my heart more than I just don't care about my mom's car. I wanted to get to the radio show. It's always circumstantial.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like it deserves.
But
yeah,
so
no,
nice.
that
But it
is
just
nice.
felt like, whoa, this never happens. But maybe it does a lot. I don't know. And
you
then,
find out she like just murdered somebody. like God, she was so not like she just let me go.
You're like,
and there's someone in the
Lakeisha
trunk.
James.
Yeah, the one that's killed 15 people.
The nursing home.
Yeah, the nursing home murderer.
Serial killer. No, she was an angel to me that day, and then last night, after I dropped you off at home at your hotel, I came back to mine, and I pulled into a one-way thing. There was no harm because there was no cars coming, but it was bad, and a cop car turns on its lights and starts pulling me over, and then it's right before my hotel. I pull into my hotel and they just go on past because I kind of went out the window like I'm a dumb American, like kind of like and they just went on past, and then I pulled into the valley, and I go to the valley guys. I was like, I did the truck driver like honk honk, like yes, because they all saw it happening and they were laughing so hard. They kept doing my honking thing. They were like, "Oh, did you see her doing this?"
They were calling you a honky.
That was probably it. They were like cracker.
Honky. I think like you went down a one-way today, and I mean the roads here are a little weird. There's no U-turns. You were going down a one-way in the
the grocery store.
And I wasn't. It's funny sometimes. Like I'll react to your driving, whether it's poor or not, and then you get up. You're like, you always tell me like,
no, I was
just
talking
relax.
to the person.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
Oh no, because I was talking to the person in the car because I go easy, calm down.
I thought that was me.
Oh no, I always do a little whiny in response to like someone who's like
losing their mind
when they're going.
It is one of my favorite things
of
seeing you drive and other people getting mad at you, and you go, "Oh, what's the?"
I go, "Come on! Oh, are you so sad? Oh,
I ran over your dog."
And honestly, it's not. These aren't traffic in things that I'm doing that are life damaging.
No.
These are just like me backing into a space the wrong way or something. Who cares? We are in Mexico. Andrew, anything to report on your end?
Yeah, I when you left, they give you a box here when you shop. They don't give you bags.
Oh yeah,
and
grocery
they wash
shopping.
your car. Oh well, yeah, and so then I had
Thank you all for your comments on the grocery shopping video of Andrew dancing last night. That was so fun.
I barely had enough groceries to like carry with just a little over 2 hands, and I used one of those push carts because they give you a box.
Yeah, they don't use bags here, which I like, but they put it in a little box.
And they also wash your car at the grocery store, and they work for the grocery store, which is wild.
And
they're not looking for money; they just detail your car.
Well, they're looking for money, obviously.
Yeah, but the people aren't there to.
What do you mean? I know, but when they come back out and the guy's standing there being like, "Hey, look, it's pretty shiny," it's like hand over the money.
I brought golf clubs here. There's a lot of golf courses in Cabo, and before you even leave the airport, like 5 different guys tried to upsell me on like to go to the golf. Like they have, a relationship with one of these very
Right.
fancy. They're
And
like, just for
you
$40.
were interested.
Not
Let's
only
be
was I
honest.
interested,
Did you get some cards?
I got some phone numbers to call Eduardo
Yeah.
to hook up the Diamante for $45.
Hell yeah.
But he wanted money then, and I didn't give it up. I actually, I stopped myself finally. But
Yeah.
I am that person. Like, I'm the guy
Listen.
that's like, hey, just come over here and talk. Oh, we're friends. Like, I just want a friend, I think.
I know.
And they
you
give you...
said that today about staying. So Andrew's staying at the hotel with all the crew and all the producers and everyone, because Andrew is a producer on the show, by the way.
Yeah, it's dope.
Applause break.
Yeah. Sit down, guys.
Yeah, everyone sit down. But Andrew has a producer credit. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
But you are staying at this hotel where they are all at, and I'm at a resort type place away from everyone because
You're on
I'm
top of a
special.
hill just looking down at
I'm actually
us.
in a basement of this resort. It's kind of weird. But Andrew said this morning that it was nice to go to there's like a continental breakfast, and
I love a continental breakfast.
He goes to the gym, and there's just it's like a social environment. Yeah, because we're seeing all these people that we saw last time, and there is something really nice about that. Because I was thinking, I had Carlisle stay with me last week, and then I went to LA this week, and I was like alone in my hotel. And then you've moved out, and I had like a week alone, but I really do need roommates, even though sometimes it's interesting the difference between living alone and wanting to like have alone time.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I want to live alone next to my best friends. Like, I don't want the responsibility, because I feel like a lot of our arguments, or like even minor arguments with Brad, like it always comes
proximity.
It comes down to duties and like who's doing what.
Who's
so
cleaning up
I'd rather
duties.
have if my room's a pigsty, it's my pigsty. But
that's what I feel like. Like
I
when I
want
look
my
around
own
my house,
pigsty.
every time there's been so many times where I'm sitting and I have so much shit everywhere, and I know that like you think I probably never cleaned it up shit because of you, but I'm now realizing like my awareness that you would always come home was always, there was something in me that was
Same.
like, clean up a little bit.
Same.
Don't be a total slob. Put on some pants, stuff like that. But every time it occurs to me, there's a sadness where I go, oh, I guess I don't have to put on pants. I guess I can just keep eating like a slob. And like, there's no accountability.
Yes.
And you could slide into sadness pretty quick, which is great. While I'm so glad I'm doing this podcast with you every day from my hotel room, because I've guaranteed company coming over every day.
And I love it. I love coming. Like I like.
How great is our relationship not living together?
It's very good.
I mean, the only thing I'm wanting more of, which we didn't get a chance to do, is you and Brenna coming over and like hanging socially.
Which we will. And you came over, like
Oh
we
my God,
will.
Your apartment's so cute. Yeah. We'll do that once we fall into a groove, which I'll never fall into because my life never ends in terms of work. But let's take a short break and let's get Andrew.
Coming.
We're back. Hey, Noah. You hung out with my parents.
Oh my God.
Last week. You were so adorable. Can I just say that I was talking to my dad? My mom was nervous about hanging out with you, I have to say, because she just gets nervous about anyone new, and especially someone young and who's friends with me who might judge her. Or, like, she has to hanging out with anyone new is like stressful, right? We can all agree. It's just, my mom has those stresses, and I was like, Noah loves you. It's going to be so easy. I swear to God, you're going to be nervous right until you get hang out, and then it's going to be easy peasy. And then and they both fucking loved you. My mom flooded me with texts that night. She had a couple drinky poos, and she was like going on. I got to read some of them about
They're going to come over. We're at that point of our relationship.
What did you do with them, Noah?
So I went hiking with them. And your dad is such a good hiker.
You know what it is? You look enough like Nikki, but you like hiking. Like you're the daughter they never had.
Oh my God.
If
wish.
you put blue contacts in.
They're wonderful parents. And we both got to the parking lot of Sabino Canyon at the same time. And I go up to the visitor center because that was like our meetup spot. And all of a sudden I hear, Noah. And I go, Julie. And we just kind of like run up to each other, and I hug them and stuff. They're so funny, and
I'm really lucky.
they have a great relationship. I wish I had parents like that to model after. You know,
Tell me
I know
about
everyone has their
what you
thing.
witnessed. Yeah, because I just want to say to you, my mom said, "I know you are." I said, she wrote me. She was a little bit, I think, had a couple drinks, and so she was texting me like crazy. And she's like, I was going. She said, "I hope Jonah is okay in Tonga," which, by the way, that is a reference to Summer Heights High. Jonah is a
Oh.
character on that show that lives in New Zealand, and she was reading about the volcano in Tonga, and so she said, "I hope a character is okay in Tonga." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Haha," and she goes, "I know you are in LA. Met up with Noah. She loves you and us. She's so cute. We better see her before we leave. Watching Brittany Murphy doc. What a sad world she lived in. Her fucking husband, Simon. I'm just glad you never fell for a Simon." I said, "Simon is so disgusting. I love Noah." She goes, "Ha ha ha, you are so hip to what's going on. Stylist try on tomorrow?" And then she goes, "By the way, Noah loves you too. Have you met Avi?" I said, "Yes, he's so nice." She said, "We are going to meet him. Noah wants us to come over to her house." That's so cute. And then she talked a lot of shit. But no. What did you notice about the relationship that maybe I'm missing out on because I'm jaded
Okay.
and, you know.
One, your dad is a leader because because I thought I was going to have to figure out like the hiking trail at Sabino, but he knew them all and he was the one who led us. Your parents are very adventurous. They told me about their
Yes.
trip to Alaska and now they're in Tucson, and I just think it's great that they travel together and do all that stuff. And your dad is so sweet. There was this woman who was mountain biking with her kids and she had no idea what she was doing. And the kid fell off the bike and your dad helped him up and he helped him fix the bike chain and stuff. And he kind of like gave them advice on what to do. It's very sweet.
Okay. I like it. No, I love this trip for them. For the listener who doesn't know, my parents just decided to go to Tucson, Arizona for the month because they have a friend who has a house there that gave them like a deal on an Airbnb situation, and they're there the whole month. And I love them being somewhere where they're just living their best life and they're not working, and my mom's not constantly rattled by like cleaning and figuring out bills and stuff. It's nice to have them on an extended vacation where I'm like, oh man, I want everyone to have that kind of life eventually.
It was funny though. I was
retirement.
before your parents left. They were talking to me, and
Oh yeah.
your mom was like, "God damn, EJ's inviting a new
Everyone
couple
is coming out to this goddamn. We got this house, and EJ is having so many goddamn guests. I'm gonna have to clean and cook and entertain. I don't even. And that's true. They have had they didn't have time to call me about Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Because they were so preoccupied with guests.
There was
They
a
haven't been able
jazz
to watch.
festival in town and they basically had a bunch of jazz musicians hang out and stay with them.
Yes,
That's how cool your parents are.
My dad's best friend is a jazz musician named Steve Schmidt, who's really, a
him.
popular, famous jazz musician in Cincinnati. And so they came out and went to the jazz festival. I don't think he played in it, but my parents are cool as fuck.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt.
If you have a friend that plays jazz who comes out and just is like, "Hey, you mind if I put my oboe over there?" It's
And
like, yeah, dude.
Their friend John Vester is famous in Finland. No, Denmark.
What does he do?
He's a musician.
Oh, another jazz
John
guy?
Vester. He lives in Venice, California, but he's super famous. He bought a place on like right off the Venice boardwalk in like the 1970s, and so he has this. It's where I lived when I first moved to LA. I lived in his spare bedroom on off Venice boardwalk with my dad's best friend from high school, who is just like this like kind of hippie-ish dude.
Yeah.
And he's famous in Denmark. It's so interesting when people are famous.
Oh, he's not from Denmark.
No.
He's just famous in Denmark.
They just picked him up there, like that Sugar Man.
Yeah, who's famous in
documentary.
South Africa and never knew. That's wild.
Can I?
Maybe I'm famous in like, Jersey.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
Whoa. It is interesting to look at your stats of like where people on Instagram are your fans.
I got
love
3% in Australia. What's up, guys?
It's
we're fan from Estonia.
Well,
I didn't even know Estonia was a real place.
I didn't. I don't know. I think that sounds like a metal band.
Noah loves them.
Wait.
She has it tattooed under her tongue.
Wearing
Noah,
their
have you
t-shirt.
watched Kamikaze? Kamikaze.
No, but your parents were telling me about it.
Okay. Yeah. I've gotten some besties into it, and Andrew obviously watched it way before I even finished it. I've watched it twice now. I love it so much. I just want to reinforce
good.
that it's really good and everyone should watch it. It's on HBO Max, and you should definitely watch it in Finnish. Like, that's, I think, Danish. No, it's Danish. Oh my God. John Vester might be all over that thing.
Yeah.
You should watch it in Danish and then have the subtitles on. But if you watch the first episode, be warned that at the end, there is a text message that they do not translate. And you can just Google what does the text message say at the end of the episode. But please do not do any research about what this show is about before you watch it. Just put it on and watch it.
Or watch it with English, like I did.
No.
And then
but you
be
liked
like, wow,
it.
they're really good with English.
And it was recommended me to someone who watched it in English. I reached out to the girl from Kamikaze. Her name is Maria Ruther.
The one that got hurt in Tonka?
No,
Isn't
that's
her character.
I mean, I matched
I
with
was
him on
trying-
Raya once. Chris Lilly. He's amazing.
I'm just trying to think of like a different character
Oh
that
yeah,
your
that my mom
would
could be worried
wor-
about. Well, she should be worried about what's her name from the show. I posted about Kamikaze on my Instagram story, and Marie Ruther from the show DM'd me heart eyes emoji, being like, "Thank you for posting." And I go, "Girl, thank you for bringing this
Yeah.
character to my life.
It's
you are
unreal.
insanely good." And now we're Instagram friends, and it's just so fun. Another show I'm so into right now, Afterlife.
Yeah, I've watched the first 2 seasons.
So the
I
third
would
season
watch
just came out.
Did you watch it already?
I'm getting through the second season. I'm on the third episode of the second season.
So let's watch the third season together.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Boy, that show is great. Noah, have you seen Afterlife?
Yeah, I watched the first season. I have to catch up.
Ricky Gervais is, I know he's been on You Up before when we had it on Sirius. He is so awesome. And I was reading about him last night. Did you know he was a singer and in a band, like a pop singer,
Oh, wow.
before he was a comedian?
Well, he also like worked in a regular office. Like
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's- he didn't start he didn't blow up until his 40s. Like
Yeah.
and he
So
had
that's
all
a good
that.
point.
He
Yeah,
had
'cause
all
he's
that stuff
60
to
right
write
now.
about because he actually
Right.
worked in that was based off kind of a true story.
I like how the Afterlife kind of is like The Office. They have an office setting, but Afterlife is on Netflix. If you haven't checked it out yet, I can't recommend that enough either. That is a totally different kind of tone of a show than Kamikaze, but it's so good.
I
and
love that kind of tone of
it's
the show.
the acting on that show. Every single character is fucking brilliant. The funniest character is the psychiatrist, who is also in Game of Thrones. I mean, all of these people every British actor is in Game of Thrones, I realized, which is a show I haven't seen, even though I know it would probably be one of my faves.
And Succession is all like Australians and
I know,
British actors.
Did you read that New Yorker piece about Jeremy Strong?
No.
Kendall from Succession.
Uh-uh.
So it's all about how serious of an actor he is.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I'll send it to you. It was it got a lot of headlines when it came out. So there's this New Yorker article about Jeremy Strong, who plays Kendall in Succession, and it's all about how his acting process, and he's very method, meaning like he's in it and he makes everyone else's lives miserable to get the role right. And if you're watching Curb this year, he's almost kind of like that guy on Curb, that plays young Larry, who wants to like have the perfect glasses and everything. And it's
Yeah.
like, you read this and you're like, this guy is obnoxious. It was interesting though, because I was reading, what did I read that made, I was reading a New York Times piece about Kathy Griffin and about her comeback, who I'm a huge Kathy Griffin fan and always will be. And after she said, I wasn't canceled after the Trump mask thing. I was ruined. And they tried, and she was like, she couldn't work, but she was talking about coming back from that and they were talking about in the article how women, when they have similar, so everyone came, so the article about Jeremy Strong was not, it didn't paint him in a good light. Some of his, co-stars were like, yeah, it's annoying. He's
Yeah.
annoying. Brian Cox, who plays his father, is like, it's a whole thing with him. And then after it came out and everyone's kind of making fun of them, all these people, Aaron Sorkin, all these people come out and say like, we support him. He's an actor. Like he has nothing to be ashamed of. Like that's just the way he is. He's not an asshole, all this stuff. And then they were comparing that to like when a woman acts if a woman were to act the way Jeremy Strong acts on set, it's very interesting to play that out and see how that would be accepted, because I don't think it would be. And I think that
But I'm just trying to wrap my head about like specifically like what does he do that like does he just obviously he doesn't break character, but does he act like an asshole and be like, well, that's the character?
He does anything to get the role. He calls people to like he's calculating in how he gets roles and how he follows up with people. He's really talented, but he made kind of a connection with Chris Evans back in like his theater camp days, and so he emailed him and like tried to get through his agent. Like, just
I kind of love that, the hustle
too.
of it. Like, but yes,
there was just something about I'm not doing a good job of painting it, but I was reading the subreddit.
Did he cut a president's head off and put it on?
The thing about the Kathy Griffin thing, can I explain what happened, which is kind of interesting?
Yeah.
So we all know she got canceled.
This is in the same article.
No, Kathy Griffin one is separate from the Jeremy Strong one.
Okay.
So the Kathy Griffin incident happened because he had just said that thing about Megyn Kelly where there was blood coming out of everything, and he was kind of commenting about her being on her period.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And so she was doing a photo shoot, and they went to the Halloween store to get a mask of Trump, and they put they put it in like one of the styrofoam wig things, so it was filled out. And then they were like, we'll put blood on it because he said blood coming out of everything. And then of course it looks like a severed head, but it was in the context of that line, which later on completely out of context. And she was investigated by the Secret Service for wanting to like decapitate the press. I mean, it was ridiculous, and it was just, and he sicked his
and
people.
She's also
on
a
her.
redhead.
Yeah, I mean,
they're both redheads.
Is he a redhead?
No, with the blood.
Oh yeah. Anyway, she's just so cool and been through so much. I just really admire her. But I also like Jeremy Strong. Like, there was nothing about it that made me go, he's an asshole. I just thought it was interesting. Like,
I don't know. I think like when you have someone like just a visual, like so much of the things like where people, if it's a story of Jeremy Strong being a dick, but if it was caught on video, right, out of context of Jeremy Strong like throwing coffee on someone's face and being like, that's the character, like, or whatever,
You're right.
then it changes everything. Like if you just heard like,
I did a really bad job because honestly, it must not have been a dick, but I just remember people making a thing of it, and then everyone came to his defense, and I'm not trying to play the if it was a man card, because I know that some women can be divas and people like really respect that about them, but I just tend to notice that if women like have like a way they do things, and it just, I mean, even with this situation with this hotel room, I don't love it, and I want to switch to a better one, and I know there's some money in the budget to get me a better one. But I don't want that to be a thing that HBO and like everyone knows about me as like Nikki is I don't want to be a diva ever. I don't want to be a nag. I don't want to be a slut. I don't want to be a tease. I don't want to be a diva. What are other things women don't want to be? What do you not want to be? You don't want to be a pussy, a creep. Men don't want to be pussy.
But
creep.
I'm kind of like with you on this stuff. Like for me to ask for a better fucking,
you're the same way.
I'm very similar in a way, but there are people that just think they deserve it and they don't care like how people perceive it. Like I'm not one of those people. Like I asked for a little bit more money than what they offered me for this, and that was a huge.
Good for you.
And I didn't get it, but I was happy that I did it.
Yeah.
And and it wasn't like crazy amount of money. And then I was, my thing though is like, if I was on Shark Tank, I was like 40%, and they're like, well, we'll give you 4%. I'll be like,
you know what? Yeah. Who needs the tea?
yeah. But that's what I would do. Like, I'm not really like, but I'm glad that I did it. But yes, I see your point. But maybe there's a room in the building that's similar priced in a different area.
And honestly, I'd be willing to pay the extra. Like there with my HBO special right now, it's been pushed. Like the air date has been pushed 4 months because I didn't get the edit done in time because I'm just being too nitpicky about it. And they have a certain budget allocated for like, this is how much money we can spend on editing this, and I'm blowing past that severely because I just want it to be great, and it's just not yet to me, and it really has the potential to be. And I wrote in the email to the guy yesterday, I'm like, I got a really good song for it that I've wanted forever, and it costs like $30,000, which is what any song that you would recognize, or any that you wouldn't even recognize the song, but it's what it costs. And I said, I'll pay my own money for extra editing. I just want this to be great. I think it could win an Emmy. And I just want, or we could just get rid of the song and I could literally like, we could do a sound alike that will cost $5, So but it's interesting when people ask for more. Like
No, but so you asked for that. What did he say?
He hasn't written me back yet.
Oh.
But in the Kathy Griffin article, this is what freaked me out. So this is what frayed her relationship with CNN long before the mask incident. So she called, I forget who was the president of NBC at the time, like Jeff Zucker or something like that. And she called him like 10 days before she was supposed to do Christmas Eve CNN with Anderson Cooper or New Year's Eve. Christmas Eve, the countdown to Christmas Eve. They're just counting like the 12 days of Christmas. So she called Jeff Zucker. Noah, you'll love this too, because I was thinking of you, because you're really good when it comes to like stepping up and trying to negotiate and fight for yourself if you think you deserve it. And she said to him, I want this much more money because I think Anderson's making that and I want this much more money. And he thought it was a threat that she would walk if she didn't get it. So he said, well, you're fired. I don't take threats. Like, don't threaten me with this. And he fired her. And then she apologized. And then he hired her again and then gave her less than she was making before.
Oh, man.
That's fucked up.
And yeah. But this bitch, like, Kathy Griffin, the reason I resonate with her when she says, I hate when people say I resonate. She resonates with me when she says that she never sought out to be someone who was offensive or who like had people hate her. I mean, we all get into this because we want to be loved. And yet but then you just get into it and you realize the hypocrisy and like how much bullshit there is. And you're just like, fuck it. Like, I just want to, if people are going to not like me, that's fine. Like did I say that I read a YouTube comment the other day under one of my most popular videos? I accidentally read it because it was there. And it was nice because it said, this is as nice as it can get from me, by the way, when it isn't a bestie. It said, gotta admit, she kind of killed this one, guys.
Yeah. So
that is all they're going to give
shitty.
me. So what they were doing was writing in response to all the hate. And I constantly get guys telling me like, oh my God, your YouTube comments do not represent how we feel about you. And I'm like, I don't read them, so don't tell me that. But, it's people, the more people that know you, the more people are going to hate you. It's just the way it goes. And I am getting so good at being okay with that. I'm so grateful that my fame has come in gentle waves and ebbed and flowed. And because I would not have been able to handle this when I was in my 20s of people having opinions about me and making fun of me or like, there was like a podcast that some people were making fun of me on recently. And it was like my peers, like people that I'm not friends with, but comedy acquaintances. And they're like trashing me on it. And it's all like good natured trashing. It's not the kind of stuff that I wouldn't be able to see them and be like, oh, that was nice. I texted some of them about it. But it is interesting when you get to a certain level of fame. If I were a nobody, they wouldn't be talking about this. They would. But because I'm at a certain level of fame, you become a part of everyone can comment on it. Like I have a bit about, I say Pete Davidson's name in my special.
Yeah.
I am now able to comment on Pete Davidson's personal life in my special. He's someone
because
who has
he's that famous.
Because he's that famous.
Yeah.
I'm able to come. And then the other night I was going to Supernova in LA, which a lot of besties showed up to those shows. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow.
Because they emailed Noah or Carlisle.
That's awesome.
And Mulaney was supposed to show up this weekend. He didn't because of whatever reason. But I didn't want to go to one of the shows because it was after I found out this podcast was talking shit about me. And I'm like, all the comics are talking shit about me. Everyone's laughing behind my back. Da, 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 da. And it was about the Bob Saget song. They're just saying that I was like cringe. And it was cringe. And I admit like there's cringe things about being sincere. And it's fine. Like I predicted it. But I was just like in this state of mind where it's like, I just heard all these nasty things about me. Howard Stern made fun of me and was like, this is the kind of thing like Nikki would make fun of. Like, what is she even talking about? And I was just feeling like, oh, everyone's like, listen to this behind my back. And they're probably like texting each other, making fun of me, which could be true on some scale. I'm not thinking everyone. But I didn't want to go to the show because I'm just like, I'm going to see other comics and they're going to be like snickering. And then I was like, wait a second, John Mulaney might show up to this show. John Mulaney, who I read speculation about his personal life. I went on the Daily Mail 2 seconds
Yeah.
before I was leaving to go, and I see pictures of him and Sarah Silverman walking the reservoir and him holding his baby. I'm like, everyone is following him and commenting on his life. How must he feel showing up tonight, knowing that his acquaintance, Nikki Glaser, is probably mouthed off on many podcasts about his personal life, knowing nothing about it. And it's kind of what you sign up for. I'm not saying that I'm not going to stop commenting on celebrities' lives but what I'm going to do is accept that mine is commentable too, and I'm able to be mocked by other comedians, and it's okay because I know who I am. I know why I do things.
Yeah.
And the thing about them making fun of me for the Bob Saget song on this podcast, like, first of all, they're not wrong. It is a little cringe. Being like that sincere and saccharine, it's so cringe. What I don't care about it, though, is that I didn't put out that song so I could get attention, so that I know in my deepest heart of hearts that I wasn't like, look how close I am with Bob. If anything, I'm like, we weren't that good of, like, I feel guilty. I've said it on this podcast. I'm guilty. We weren't that good of friends. I wasn't trying to get attention for it. I wasn't trying to make myself more famous because of it. I was just putting something out there that reflected how I felt. I would never have done it had I not already been in a recording studio recording songs that I never intended to release, which I could even prove that I wasn't going to intend to release them with multiple conversations I had. I was paying thousands of dollars just to do this thing that I wanted to do for fun. And that's why it happened. And also, my final thought about this is that because no matter what other people say you're doing something for, because I think I didn't listen to their thing, but I think they just said it was cringe and that it's like Nikki thinks she's like sweet. She doesn't sound that good, whatever it was. And them saying, I know what I would say if someone commented this. Let me just say that is that they're trying to get attention. They're trying to be like, I was so close with this famous person. I know I wasn't doing that. That's all I need. That's all that needs. I don't need to prove that to anyone, which I could because I have proof that I've talked about not being that close with him. So obviously I'm not trying to pretend like I was. I just was feeling something, and that's all that it was. It wasn't. And if my motivations were anything other than that, I would feel it would have stuck with me that they made fun of me because they would have nailed it, you know?
Yeah, I remember even before, like, you know, people like commented on it and you're like, should I post this? Because it feels like I'm promoting, like, you felt weird about it to me, I remember. Also, it's like, part of me is like, you've matured in a way where you can be sincere and you've removed yourself from this toxic situation that is in these comedy communities, that if you're not the most toxic, you're not being real or you're not being edgy.
You know what is not edgy? Like, always being edgy.
Exactly.
Let me just say that the definition of edginess to me and actually pushing the boundaries is doing things that are risky for you because they might make you look stupid. They might make you look foolish. They might make you look weak, but you want to say them and do them anyway. Comics who live on the edge and whose main objective is always to say the most offensive thing and make fun of everything, there's nothing risky about it. Maybe the first time you went on stage and did that act where you're like, say the most offensive thing, maybe that was a risk. But once you have a fan base, there ain't nothing risky about going on a podcast. And granted, I like these guys that make fun of me. They're so funny. And I like offensive humor. I like this, I like that type of humor. That's how I started in comedy, was like saying the worst thing. Obviously, my roast jokes are, representative of that. And a lot of my stand-up act. But the thing what comedy doesn't give me anymore, and doing those offensive jokes used to give me, was the thrill that I might piss someone off and they might hate me forever, and it might ruin me. It might make me look stupid. I might say something that's out of line, that challenges the way someone thinks. They're not challenging anyone anymore.
Yeah.
They have their legion of fans who agree with anything they say.
Yeah.
There is nothing they're putting out there anymore that is ever going to make them look stupid or embarrassed, or there's no risk anymore. And I'm not saying that I still think it's valid to have that kind of comedy out there. It doesn't mean like all comedy has to be risky. But what I did and what I'm doing with music is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It is the level of this is
very
going
edgy.
to get me. It is edgy.
Yeah, I know.
Because
I agree.
it makes me doing Dancing with the Stars was also another thing. I'm not saying I'm the best at this, but at least I took a fucking chance on something I wanted to do because it felt good, but might have made me look so dumb and did because I got this thing that I sincerely tried, I failed terribly at. I've looked
agree.
more stupid than these guys have, so much more. And to me, and I'm not even the one doing there are people that do this more than I even do it. But to me, being an edgy comic is the safest shit going. And we need to start acknowledging that because what really is edgy and what is like, is doing things that might make you look dumb. And like you dancing in the supermarket, someone like said something about like, Nikki, you went from being like a great stand-up to now you're posting pictures, like video of this guy dancing in a supermarket. You dance like a little spastic ballerina in a fucking aisle. You tell me that is comedy, you asshole. That is funnier than any one-liner I could have written on Twitter or some like sweet TikTok I could have made of like, when you go to the supermarket and you can't find the time. Like, that is so
or
much
a TikTok dance that
and guess how many times I watched that
original
and laughed in bed last night when I couldn't sleep. Like 35 times. And how that to me is way riskier than saying some like line about like race or trans rights or whatever or like someone's mom. It's just like
my thing too is that like it's like if and I know we have to get to news, but like if your fan base attacks the person you make fun of, not in a comical way, but in the most harsh and egregious way to really rip at them and make them feel horrible about themselves, and you don't fucking tell your audience like, hey, look, we agree that this is funny, but attacking other people outside of us in a way where they flood the troll, and it's whatever, you're fucking trolls, you're fucking writing on
did
keyboard.
they flood my comments on the Saget video?
They comment on our YouTube page, like 100 of them, and maybe even more.
I got so many messages on Twitter like, where's your Louis Anderson song? Where's your Robert Durst song? It's just like, it's gonna follow me for a while, and
which is fine.
But I'm going to put out an album and actually have success, and I'll get made fun of so much I have so many more things up my sleeve that are gonna be embarrassing. Bring it on. These fucking pussies that comment this shit, they would never do anything that would ever make them look a little bit stupid in the name of being sincere and putting out actual feelings. And the second one of these guys' heroes perishes, God forbid, let's see if they don't fucking do something a little bit sweet. And by the way anyone who is listening to these guys thinking they are like so brave and don't give a fuck and they don't try at all. Look at what they're wearing. Look at the outfits they wear. Look at the gloves they have on. They think about what they look like and how they appear all the time. As so do I. I'm just saying, it bugs me that they came after me. It hurt my feelings. It made me feel stupid. It made me feel exactly how I knew I was going to feel and how like I predicted I was going to feel. It's embarrassing to be made fun of. It just is. Especially by comedians whose like comedy you respect.
There's a way to be sincere in like this. Their fan base, whatever, they're like, oh, we're sincere. We actually, when we have festivals, we all come together and we're so open to everything.
I love you, man. And we close every roast with, I love you, man. You're like my brother. And
But there's like a way that they do sincerity where it's still like manly and edgy. It's like, I love my baby son. I taught him how to shoot a gun and kill his first rabbit. And then we ate it together right out there on the woods, And it's like, wow, man, you fucking have some heart. But if it was like, I don't know, really putting yourself out there or really like just like, but then it'll be like, well, or like I kissed a man or I blew him. It's like, yeah, we understand this, but it doesn't mean that your fan base don't fucking attack people and like
this is
fucking
so funny
people like.
Because I interpreted it completely different.
And here we are talking about it.
Yeah, no. I wanted to. Noah, what?
So I watched it and. Like your song was the impetus for like one of the funniest moments they've had on their podcast, which was the tribute song that Jay and the guy from the Comedy Jam wrote, but it was about Bob Saget. So it had nothing really to do.
Wait, they wrote like a mock song?
Yeah, so they're like, okay, well, this inspired us to write our own songs. And Lewis wrote a song, a parody song about meeting Bob Saget in the green room at Skankfest, and Bob Saget not knowing who he was, to
That's funny.
Tears in Heaven. And then Jay and Adam wrote a song, like a metal song, the Linkin Park song, and then they did like a thing that Korn did. Anyway,
Yeah.
and it was really funny.
It's like, it is funny. I would probably be making fun of me
Yeah.
too, but I'm just getting defensive because I'm me. But I will say that like I don't mind what they did as much as like what their fans did. Of course,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they-
I
the
don't
fans are
care.
the
I would
punishing
even
ones.
say-
I liked it. There's
but I do
whatever.
think
It's
they
like-
are terrified of looking like pussies.
Yes.
Ever or being vulnerable and really almost looking sincere, like or being made fun. I mean, I would be terrified of being made fun of too if all my friends constantly were on the lookout to call me gay and
Mm-hmm.
make fun of me. Like it is, and as a comedian, you can't do sincere things. I've chosen a profession where I'm gonna get made fun of, and this will haunt me for the rest of my life. But given a chance to do it again, I might have released it under a different name or something so that no one could accuse me of it. But that would have been weird because it's like, why is this random person singing about Bob Saget?
Yeah.
And maybe I would have put more jokes in it. But the day I recorded it, I wasn't in a mood to make
No.
jokes. It just happened.
Yeah.
And that's just what happened. And you know what? But I think that this can be a lesson to everyone because I was thinking about how we could make this like, oh, how is this about a larger thing than just myself? And it's just, you can't control what people think about you. And if you know what your own intentions are and you know who you are, even if someone's calling you racist, someone's calling you a diva, someone's calling you a bitch, someone's calling you lazy, if you know someone's calling you fat, if you know you actively don't want to be that thing, maybe you are fat, but you don't want to be it, you know it's not your fault. And also that it matters what I think. Like I remember Rachel Feinstein, I remember one time she was worried about some person she was working with thinking something about her because they knew someone who probably would have lied about her to them. And I was just like, Rachel, it just doesn't matter because you can't control it. What are you going to call them and say, I think you might have heard this thing about me? It's out of your hands and you know that you're not that. And all you have to do is just keep living from that place of not being the person that they are thinking that you are. And it'll catch up. There are so many times I have heard shitty things about people. And I go into a situation thinking a person's going to be one way because I've heard rumors. And how easy is it to disprove that once you get to know a person?
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't get a chance to disprove it, like I'm not going to get a chance to make these people like me. They'll never like me, these guys. And the haters. But I know who I am. And that's all that matters. And they're not affecting my well-being. They're not like, hurting me. I'm not reading their comments. My friends and family might. But I know, even if I did put that out to get attention for being friends with Bob Saget and because I wanted everyone to hear my cool new voice that I think I deserve to win a fucking Emmy for, which is not true. But even if that were true, who the fuck cares? That's another thing when people like put an Instagram post where you'll go, Nikki, isn't this guy just trying to get attention for this? And I go, even if he isn't that sad? Shouldn't we just like let that like, and it's not, that's not, I'm not hurting anyone by, if I were really like, God, I want everyone to know I'm so close to Bob Saget and that like famous people love me. If that were me, that's really, in the scheme of things, to be a bad person, that's not really that bad. It's not true, but like, even if it were, but I know who I am.
I mean, how many people were probably talking shit about Childish Gambino when he was like trying to do like R&B music when he was a stand-up comedian? I mean, and now he's off to making one of the best shows on TV. And I'm not saying people will go, well, that's not the same because he's more talented, like whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like they have this idea of like,
Yeah.
and they want to keep everyone in a box because they don't want to go outside that box. That box is scary. I don't want to step out there.
It's so scary to potentially look stupid.
Look,
and that's why I love you. That's why I was so attracted to you and your version of stand-up because you've taught me to lean into that of like, who cares if I'm looking in the Instagram and I'm trying to look a little bit hot here and it's also funny it's also funny. That's good enough. And maybe I am trying to look a little hot because I look good. Who the fuck
Okay.
cares?
It's okay.
And what if I look like I do a silly dance and it's like, I don't know. It's just,
I get comments though, like, look, I lean, like, I know, like, there's a way of me being like, oh, I could just dance down the thing and like, but I also want to be respected for my jokes, because I do think I'm a good joke writer, and I do think like I actually can tell a story very like whatever. I'm very compelling on stage, and that I don't just rely on like.
You're more
like
than that, of course.
Like, and I'm not saying that that's what you think, but like, I get comments all the time where it's like, you're nothing without Nikki. You're,
but
I get that.
That's not true.
I know, but even if you read it, like,
but I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
Agreed. That's what I do tell myself. I go, look, I actually worked 8 years or 7 years before I even met Nikki. I actually am extremely talented on my own.
Yes.
But you read that and people from afar, it gets
enters
in there. My brain and
but you just got to go back to what you can control and trying to convince people, no, actually just keep telling good jokes, just keep telling good stories, because you do know you're a good storyteller. You do know you're a good comedian. They might not know that or see that yet, but you can just keep doing it, and then it'll eventually get out there. They might not see it, but
it's just so funny. Like how you come up though is like how you're perceived. Like
everyone gets a break from someone else.
Yeah.
Everyone can always go, you wouldn't be anything if you didn't do that. Like there's so many people have helped me along the way that they could. And by the way, people could say the same thing about I'm nothing without you. Like, what do I have to be? It's the same. I feel that way about you sometimes, a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, do we have any time for any? No, we have to go to a break. Let's come back with Why Do I Care and just cut right to it. Why do I care? All right. Why do I care?
Let me get to it. Sorry. Oh yeah, have all the swells out there. It's Tuesday, folks. You know what that means?
We didn't even do news. So
it is Tuesday. But why do I care? Taylor Swift fires back at singer Damon Albarn for claiming she doesn't write her own songs. Can you listen to his quote?
Yeah.
And then have you read the quote?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
I don't even want to comment on this. I'm so upset about it in a way that you don't think I would be.
So he goes. She doesn't write her own song. Oh, so Damon went on to say that doesn't count. She co-writes some of them, or the reporter said, whatever. He goes, that doesn't count. I know what co-writing is. Co-writing is very different to writing. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just saying there's a big difference between a songwriter and a songwriter who co-writes. Doesn't mean the outcome can't be really great. That is not attacking at all. He didn't say that she doesn't write some of her songs, but maybe she does co-write some of them. Does she not? Does she not bring in producers for music?
She does co-write, but he was insinuating. He definitely was insinuating that when it says co-write, that she's not doing the writing.
Oh, is that what you got from it? I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But the truth of the matter is, this is exactly what we were just talking about. I was a little disappointed with her reply because can you read her reply?
She wrote, "Fuck you, bitch. I'll find you."
I mean,
and
she
I'll slice
essentially did.
Oh, sorry. That was a different quote. Okay. I was.
By the way, this guy was in the band the Gorillas, with the Z.
Yes.
I ain't happy.
And Blur.
I'm feeling sad. He's one of the Gorillas.
I'm feeling bad. I got sunshine. I was such a big fan of yours until I saw this. I write all of my own songs. Your hot take is completely false and so damaging. You don't have to like my songs, but it's really fucked up to try and discredit my writing. Wow. And then she writes a follow-up. She goes, P.S. I wrote this tweet all by myself in case you were wondering. Okay. No co-writing on that tweet, motherfucker.
Here's my... Here's when I saw that, I first read Taylor's response before I saw his thing, and I thought this guy must have really been
harsh,
really mean. And then I read his quote, and I go, we would never hear about this guy's quote unless Taylor commented on it, ever. Who is reading an article about what the co-founder of Gorillaz, who had a hit in 2001, says? Andrew, you want to scoot up closer?
Oh, sorry.
So the only reason we know about this, I get it. This is exactly what we were just talking about. When someone says something about you that isn't true, and how you respond, and how and how hurtful it can be when you know it isn't true and you perceive that maybe a lot of people are saying this about you. I gotta be honest, no one thinks Taylor Swift ain't writing her songs. That girl, I mean, you know what? I don't want to say no one, because it's almost the same thing I was just saying of like when one person says something, the people can latch onto it, and then it can become the narrative about you. But there are so many documented, it's so well documented that Taylor Swift writes literally everything she does, and she has a hand in everything. She's almost, it's almost too much sometimes, where you're like, girl, like she's writing songs for other people, like she should record on her own. This girl is one of the greatest songwriters in the history of the world. There's no doubt about that. The fact that she got so upset about this hurts me, because I'm like, Taylor, you have nothing to prove anymore. You don't need to get mad at this guy, because his voice means truly nothing. You are so solidified in the annals of music history as one of the most prolific singer-songwriters who will ever exist, right up there with the Beatles, like with the Beatles, that answering this guy is just beneath you. And the fact that he made you so upset makes me think, babe, what's going on? Like, this doesn't, you...
Yeah, but I guess the
it makes me feel sad for her that she got so upset about this.
But don't you think this mindset is the same reason why she writes 40,000 songs? It's the same reason why you write and do everything you do. Like,
yes, but
every
I think she should have
artist
kept
is
it
sensitive
to herself, because
every
I think
good
this
artist.
guy's life is ruined now for a while because of how much her fans hate him. And I just think it was an overreaction.
Even like Taylor too, like her fans.
But thank God for Taylor Swift's overreactions. I have.
But her fans are going to go off on this guy.
Oh, I know.
Right? And she'll never once write, hey, you know what? Back off. Look, it was between me and him. I made this public. It's not really. You don't have to fucking.
I completely agree.
Swat him or whatever.
When you said that about those guys about me, it was immediately what I thought about. Is this? I felt bad for this guy yesterday, because he followed up with the greatest response ever. And I'm on the Taylor Swift subreddit yesterday.
What was his response? I didn't see that.
It was like, I would never want to discredit you as a songwriter. I am so very sorry. I mean, it was
and it was taken out of context, he said, a little bit.
It was absolutely. They were talking about co-writers in general. I bet her name was thrown into it. They took out any other name that was associated in that mix. I'm sure it was taken out of context. And the thing is, maybe he was feeling a little jealous of her. And he threw under the bus because he was like, I like Billie Eilish more than Taylor Swift. He said a couple other things that were like not nice. So I would be fired up too if I were her. But it makes you realize there's no one that's immune to feeling really attacked when there's ridicule, especially when it puts into question the thing that you pride yourself on the most, that no one can take from you, is that you write your own stuff.
And it comes from a peer that
if someone said that someone else co-wrote my jokes, I would fucking lose my goddamn mind. That is what really.
Especially
when people say
if
I suck dick for stage time, I was like, okay, I know I didn't do that. But when someone said no men wrote jokes for you, I was like, how fucking dare you?
Yeah.
So
and I did blow him for the joke. No, but my thing is like, it's also comes like, you like these guys that were talking shit. She respected this guy, so I'm sure she's like, wow, this guy's a great song, or however she viewed it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's interesting to say you're a fan of someone until they insult you, because does that change how their music sounds?
No.
That's a little weird.
That's the difference. Yeah.
I just felt.
I'm sorry. So you're reading the subreddit
to meditate more, but that's it. But I will say that she, I was reading the subreddit and I thought Taylor Swift fans would be like, that was a sincere apology. People cannot fucking apologize anymore. No one will take an apology. There's no apology that's ever good enough for people once they want to burn you at the stake.
Once you apologize, then you're weak, and then they jump on you more.
Apologizing is worse. There's nothing. You guys, open your minds to people apologizing. It's so weird. And my fans don't need to hear this because they're fucking open to it, but I'm just like sad about it. Let's get into Reddit. It's time for Reddit dump. This is your Reddit dump. All right, so
Can
let's
I pee real quick?
Yeah, go pee. I'll stay on here and keep this going. So I wanted to play a really funny clip from I guess Magnum PI. Did you see the one? And it's like, I don't know if it's going to go well on audio, but you can check it on the video if we can put it on. It's Magnum PI, and he's like obviously investigating some kind of crime. And it's, what's his name? Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
And he's running up some stairs, and he sees a nun on a ladder, and he has his gun drawn, and he's like searching for whoever the suspect is. And he sees a nun on a ladder, and he kind of looks at the nun, and she looks back at him, and he's like, kind of like, oh, okay,
Morning,
she's just a
sister.
nun. And then he says that. Then he runs back up the stairs.
She says good
He
morning.
runs back up the stairs. And then he gets a little bit of like a suspicion. And then all of a sudden, you see her from behind pull out a gun.
Guns don't work on Sunday.
And he says to himself, right before he realizes that the nun is in the background pulling out her gun, and you can see her about to shoot him. And then he he just kind of thinks to himself. And then right before he turns around to see her, he goes, nuns don't work on Sunday. Then he turns around and he shoots the nun before she's able to shoot him. But it's just so funny how, you would never put that together and go, it's Sunday. Nuns don't work on. It's just like the dumbest thing.
Especially fixing windows. What nuns fix windows?
Why would a nun? Nuns don't work. Why is this not on a ladder fixing a window? Like a very high ladder too. She's like 35 feet up. It just made me laugh. That was from the subreddit Funny.
Wait, I have a question for Andrew, because when I was watching that clip, has anyone ever said that Tom Selleck and you could be related in some way?
Here, wait till you see this photo, and I think we should post it. I'll send you a photo, Noah, of where I'm very Sellecky.
Okay.
Mixed with Ron Jeremy.
Oh yeah, you got a little bit of Ron Jeremy. I see that.
But
on
no
the top.
No Selleck?
No, I see the Tom Selleck, especially in this last clip that we just showed. This was from True Off My Chest, is where people just like vent something. And this thought made me think of you, Andrew. It said, the fact that women's legs are naturally hairy to me is such a mind fuck. My dislike of hairy legs on a woman feels so natural to me, but it isn't. It's a socially imposed preference. And if I had been born any time before the 1900s, women would be all walking around with hairy legs and men wouldn't give a shit because it would be normal. It's hard for me to believe my preference for hairless legs is a social construct because it doesn't feel that way, even though it is. It makes me wonder what other aspects of myself that I believe are inherent are actually not. Andrew, you feel the same way about women's hair on their legs. Don't lie.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say that so Brando might not shave her legs during the winter, or like she lets them grow a little bit. Like they do feel a little tarantula, but not full.
But you said the look of ankle hair on a woman's leg could make you unattracted to her.
No, it was
You
the
used to
happy
say
trail.
that.
It was the happy trail of a woman. But a woman with fully grown out leg hair, it does not help my penis stay hard or get hard. I agree with that.
I have the same thing with men not driving Teslas. Just kidding.
Yeah. What is it about a man that where a man grooms themselves where it's like, I couldn't date a man unless he was groomed in a certain way. I'm just trying to think.
There's nothing. I mean, I don't really mind a lot of body hair or anything like that. And not that
there are women that will go, if you have back hair, I'm not dating you. Like, women do say that.
Uncircumcised penises.
With hair on them.
There are women that are like probably grossed out by that, but you should be grossed out by penises in general.
Yeah.
The fact that we haven't learned to like crave penises is weird. Like, just want them in us. We do, but like physically, like why don't they look more appealing? I guess because we don't need to put them in our mouths. That's just something we do for fun.
Because the dicks you've seen your whole life. It's what you see your whole life. If I saw leg hair my whole life,
right,
I would just.
It would be more acceptable.
Although no, I do remember though in like 4th or 5th grade when girls had hair, like some girls would shave until their knee.
Yes.
And then it would be like,
even
if it was blonde,
in.
they go, it's blonde. I'm like, yeah, but that's a lot of blonde.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Is a good...
Even then, I kind of knew that like I wasn't that attracted to it.
I'm the same way. I mean, I feel like so much more of a woman when I have shaved legs. But it is interesting that makeup, though, is just something that highlights things that are already natural for a woman to look pretty.
Yeah.
Like that are already like, but the hairless leg thing is completely. I wonder what that is signaling to a man's brain that they are more sexually attractive. That is kind of an evolutionary.
What's that?
Thing.
The hair.
Yeah,
thing?
hairless being like if a woman's hairless,
young.
Oh yeah,
Um,
young. It's youth. You're right. You don't get hair on your legs until you're older.
It's like
totally,
if I saw a
it's
dolphin with long hair, I would be turned off. Like there's something about like
Oh God, have you seen that TikTok of someone putting those like hard spaghetti through a hot dog and then cooking it?
oh no.
It looks like a centipede. So you put it through
Oh.
a hot dog and then you throw it in boiling water and then afterwards all the spaghetti is you could strike it through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And you put it in the water and so it looks like and then you pull it out and it's just this and then they put it in a bun and it's like a spaghetti dog. It just makes me sick. So this is one from Life Pro Tips. I just thought this was good for me and the besties and you to know. Life pro tip. Always tell kids that they have a cool helmet. Positive reinforcement with helmets can cause them to wear them more in the future and potentially save their life. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I mean, again, that goes to like being manly and being tough as opposed to is it stupid?
Tony Hawk wears a helmet. That's what it says here.
Yep.
Also, buy your kids helmets that look cool like their friends have. That's a good point. Was there anything when you were a kid that you were like I needed to have like a cool backpack. Like I was so worried that I was going to have a lame gym shoes, lame backpack,
Lame backpack.
lame bike, really.
Lame binder.
Yes.
Remember the Velcro binder came out, and
Oh,
then it's
5-star.
like it couldn't be too colorful because I
Yep.
couldn't be a girl, so it'd have to be
Yes.
manly, maybe like a dark blue
Okay.
that I'm wearing now for a shirt.
Let's go to
Never
the
ends.
final thought and let's
Yeah.
play the clip that I just found on Reddit this morning. That is so weird of this guy trying to pick up this girl in like a thrift store. So it says it actually reads it for us so we can listen. It's so creepy. You're going to love this.
I was just trying to thrift.
My name's Lori.
All right.
I just think you're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever met.
Oh, thank you.
Can I buy one of those things for you?
Oh, no, it's okay. I'll be fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you engaged with someone or involved with someone?
No, I'm not. But
I'm not either.
I'm only 17, so
Okay, well, that's a good age to be.
yeah, it
I'm
is.
not quite that.
All right.
I got injured about a month or so ago. My knee is I'll show you. It's kind of banged up. I get bitten by a tick, actually. Maybe you can guess which one is bad.
Oh, I have no idea.
You can't
No,
tell?
I can't tell.
It's the right one. Anyway, I live out in the country, and I got a bunch of stuff that I was kind of trying to keep up on for work, but it's kind of falling behind. I'm looking for someone to help me.
Oh, okay.
It's a paying thing, but it basically involves getting my stuff out of the garden and processing some things like tomatoes and that kind of stuff.
Right. Right. I'm getting a phone call. I actually have to go.
Okay.
Ugh.
God.
What the fuck? I mean, that's a guy that eventually he tries that a bunch of times and obviously it never works. Or he tries it on a mentally ill person and they do it. But he's going to murder her.
I mean,
And then
has
he
that guy
just
been
goes and
arrested?
kidnaps someone.
I don't
Did he
know
get
about murder,
arrested?
but he'll
No.
definitely sexually harass her.
But no, well, someone commented and said, yeah, I have a farm with an empty storage container that I'm currently looking to lock someone up in. Are you interested?
She's like, actually, yeah, that sounds cool.
One of my acid vats has sprung a leak. Do you know how to weld?
I do.
That's another comment. These people are so funny on Reddit. Yeah, and also, hey girl, want to check out my gross knee? Like my pussing knee that got bit by a tick? Like, what is wrong with people? And also, that girl, teach our children to say, leave me the fuck alone, dude, or like go get.
But you don't want to like elevate it. I guess it's hard.
I know, but she's in a public place where there could be other people, but like, man, that is so
The hanger,
creepy.
the hanger sounds add to the tension too.
Oh yeah.
I freaking
Have you ever tried to pick up a girl in public? Like, total shift of tone, because obviously you would never do anything like that. But has there ever been an attempt to just talk to a girl in public that you had an attraction to from afar and like?
I'm going to say this right now, and you might not believe me. I don't think I've ever, maybe not. Okay, sober, sober,
Right.
not drunk. I've never hit on a girl in like a hitting on way in my life.
Yeah.
I know. It's,
I mean, I believe you. I don't think
I've
that
never been at the gym and been like,
Honestly-
oh, are you like lifting? That's cool. Like, I love to lift.
I've
like,
been
I've
hit
never.
on maybe a handful of times like that, but I think it happens so often. I think
Oh,
I
it
really
does.
put out a vibe of like, don't fucking talk to me. And not that the other girls are asking for it. I'm not saying that. I just don't get it a lot, and I have to imagine it's not because guys don't want to rape me, but it's like
But I'm talking about like just even just like.
no, I get it. Just want to sleep with me. No, it doesn't. It's never. I'm almost offended that people don't do it more often because. But I think I've given my number to I've like just gone up and like given my number and walked away back in my 20s a lot. Not so. I mean, sober.
Yeah, I mean, that's
And they never do.
It's a good move though because you're kind of like. You're not really. You're risking it without kind of risking it because you're kind of like you're going for it, but if they don't call back,
dude.
I know you did that at the hotel
Yeah.
that one time.
There
but-
was the bellman. There was a bellboy at the hotel I just checked out of yesterday, and I went downstairs and I had all my luggage in my room stacked up, and I had a tip on it because I was going to go down to the lobby and be like, "Hey, can someone go up and get it?" And I go down, and they're like, "Oh, this guy can get it," and he rounds the corner, and he's the most attractive person I've ever seen, maybe. And he's the bellboy, and he's probably like 22 or something. Like he's way young, but he's just gorgeous. I couldn't talk. In front of all these employees at the front desk, I was like, I have, and I had to look at the ground. I felt insane.
Like you were kicking dirt.
I was so. It wasn't like I was like trying to be like flirtatious. I couldn't. I was too astounded by how attractive this person was, and I felt embarrassed to be in their presence. And I was like, "It's my luggage is up." I couldn't look at him. Have you ever seen someone so good looking you couldn't look them in the eye?
Yeah, I think so. I can't like put my finger on it, but
I've
been
never
around
had
attractive enough people that are just like, oh, you're not the same kind of person as me. Like there's two different kinds of people, and you're in some kind of weird cheekbone.
I felt like
family.
if I looked him in the eyes, he would know how much I felt he was hot. Like that something in my eyes might turn to hearts, or I don't know why I couldn't make eye contact because I thought he would know everything, and it would be so embarrassing that this old woman thinks this guy is so cute. But it was like I was a 7th grader and there was like a hot boy at the locker next to me. It was so funny. I felt like kind of alive again. I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. And then I was like, how does my room look? What kind
You
of
also
shape did I
don't
leave it in?
expect it. Like it's your and he also just saw all your like room
Sees
and
like my dirty luggage. I'm like, Jesus Christ, shit. No, I mean, I was just. I was
also
like, this,
then it's like, do people like not try to fuck the bellhop, or do they just try to fuck the bellhop? Do we think we're better than the bellhop?
I was like, this is a White Lotus episode,
Yeah.
season 2, waiting to happen. I mean, this kid, I couldn't. I've never seen someone just where they just walk in and I'm like, hi.
He's definitely in LA modeling, acting.
He was so sweet. He was just like a young, maybe he was older than 22, but he was just nice. He wasn't like he thought he was cool. He was just like a sincere bellman that was like, I'm sorry, I don't know your. He was like, what's your name again? Because they're all is a hotel where they're supposed to like know your names, but he didn't know my fucking name, and I'm like, Miss Glaser. It's Miss Robinson to you.
Yeah. It's funny. This makes me think of. So last night I watched Euphoria, episode 3 of this past season, and there's a beginning episode. At the beginning of the episode, it's about like these two high school boys that end up like they love each other, but they can't be together because it's like the 1950s or 60s or whatever. It's like an origin story for like one of the other characters, like the fathers.
Okay.
Whatever. Long story short, I'm like, God, there's one guy, like, they're both extremely attractive guys that look like they're in their 20s playing high school kids, whatever. But the one looked just like Brad Pitt, like a young Brad Pitt. And I literally typed in, like, I don't know why. I just had to Google it. I had to find out if
Like
this
who
guy
this guy was.
looked like Brad Pitt. Like,
So you looked up.
I
young
like
Brad Pitt.
typed in, Euphoria episode 3, guy that looks like a young Brad Pitt.
Oh my God.
And it's just like so funny, and I found him on Instagram, and I'm like going through his. I was like, he kind of looks like Brad Pitt. Like I'm like analyzing how hot he is. Does he look like Brad Pitt? And I'm just
I
like,
do the same
what am I
thing late
doing?
at night. It's so lame. Oh my God, the wormhole I got into last night was so embarrassing. I was looking at some couple that is like looks perfect,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what are you doing, Nikki? It's 3 a.m. Like, you should go to bed. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy for them. They're really cute, but like, I want to hear what her voice sounds like. She's really hot, but I bet she's got a weird voice. And I'm like, and then I'm just like, God, they seem so happy. And I'm like, just go back to like, just get off of this. And so I go back to Reddit and it's just a picture of a wart being dissected. And I'm like, what is, and it's just, I'm in the subreddit warts, like looking, and I'm deep in it, like 2 years down looking, and I'm like, it just was such a quick reminder of like who I am. I'm like this single woman with a UTI, staying up late, watching some couple being like, they're not that happy. And then I go back to like me and my wart vids.
And then the next morning you go, hey, I got to sleep in an extra 20 minutes because
that's what I was up late doing last night. It's ridiculous. We got to go. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll be here all week and all month, really, in Mexico. Thank you so much for listening. Don't be and Jack
Cabo.